the library with my children, and while they are doing schoolwork, I'm listening to a Jordan Peterson interview. This is a long interview, but there is a clip of it that I want you to listen to, and I'm going to come back on the back end.
Yeah, that there are reasons to not want to have children. One reason is an overwhelming self-centered narcissism. That's not the only reason, but it's definitely one reason. And people talk about, the interference with their personal freedom and their desire to pursue their career. And in that, I read something like the absolute inability to ever sacrifice your own narrow self-interest. And I do mean narrow to the, what would you say, concerns and needs of other people. And so, it's interesting to me that it's 5% that don't want children, and that the rate of that kind of self-centered narcissism is about 4 to 5% too. Now, I am not saying that everyone who decides not to have children falls into that category, but I am saying that a fair number of people who don't want children fall into that category. I mean, if you think about it biologically, every single one of your maternal ancestors for 3.5 billion years reproduced successfully. And it might be that you're the exception to that rule, but if you are, you should think long and hard about why. You also might want to think long and hard about why, given that it's likely to have a pretty damn detrimental effect on your life. It's all fine to be fancy, free, and footloose when you're 30 and 35, but it's a lot less amusing when you're 50, and it might be downright dreadful by the time you're, let's say, 65.
So, in the longer interview, these two men are talking about the birth rate decrease and how it's going to have global implications. And it's talking about the typical things, how is the tax implication, it's going to be less people to buy property values are going to decrease, there's going to be less workers, pensions are going to go bust. They're talking about all these things that are going to happen, but the implications that they're giving are women need to have more babies because women are in control. One of the things that Jordan Peterson says in this clip is that women who do not want to have kids are raging narcissists and selfish. We live in a country where a handful of people are the ones that are in control of the wealth. And typically the leaders and politicians of these countries that are experiencing these birth dearths are men. And instead of creating policies that benefit women, that support mothers, that encourage births naturally, they do that finger wagging and shaming and calling women selfish. Or they do the restrictions where they're trying to restrict abortion and try to restrict or shame women that want to use birth control. So these men just simply refuse to listen and learn and listen to what women need, telling us everything that is about to go bust because of the birth dearth is not going to create a situation where women want to have children. I don't know why they just will not see or listen to women, but there will be a lot of this. The decline is still here because the conditions that to have children are still not wonderful. Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson were having a conversation about this, but these men are sitting around, multimillionaires and a billionaire, like they have all of the money and they're just sitting on tons of money. Imagine if women had enough money to where they don't have to think about where food is going to come from, or that they might have, or they didn't have housing insecurities. They didn't have issues with getting medical attention. Imagine a world where women could have children and have the freedom to raise them, and money isn't the issue. But that's just me talking. You guys jump in and weigh in on what you think about the situation and what Jordan Peterson said in that clip. I'm going to be listening to the longer version. I'm going to continue listening to the longer interview and see if there's any more clips that I want to pull out.